What's up, everybody, man? It's your boys Cam and T, man. Back at it again with another episode of the Cam and T podcast. I am your co-host, Tony T. Time West. And also as well, we got my brother from another mother, Cam. Happy podcast day, bro. Happy Tuesday. How you doing, man?
Happy Tuesday, man. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I done seen better days, but you know, we potting, bro. We on our regularly scheduled programming.
Yes,
we
sir.
back on
Yes,
Tuesday.
sir.
How about
Yes.
yourself, man? How you living, man? We got snow.
Yeah, we got snow. Yeah, I was about to say I'm doing pretty good, man. This snow event we got going on in Atlanta kind of caught me off guard. Because we got like an inch of snow out here on the north side of Georgia of Atlanta. So they told us we weren't gonna get no snow, and it's about, like I said, about an inch, about an inch. It's about an inch on the ground out there. And the streets have not been treated. I don't know if you've seen it, Cam. Like if you go on Twitter and on Instagram, there's people sliding. It looks like 2014 all over again in Atlanta. Like Atlanta did not prepare for the snow because they were saying we wasn't gonna get it. They said it was gonna be like south of Atlanta, and Atlanta got hit with the snow, at least an inch in most places. So now Atlanta's unprepared. The streets are really bad. They're in really bad conditions. There's no salt been put on the road at all. So if you are out in Atlanta driving, please be safe. I've had already 3 friends literally today from their Instagram story. They were pushing their cars because it was stuck in the ice just a couple hours ago, like an hour ago when it was light out. So you feel me? That's just what it is. So y'all be safe out here if you are in the snow. Be careful. But yeah, besides that, I'm doing pretty good, man. I'm doing good. Yeah, I'm pretty good, bro. I'm ready to get into the show tonight, man. We got a lot to talk about, Cam. You know, we got to talk about your boys. We'll get into them. We'll get into Lamar and all that. We'll get into it because this might be the first time me and you gonna go to war. This might be. I don't know how you gonna feel about this. This might be the first time we go to war on this pod. I ain't gonna lie. So we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about the college football championship game last night. Ohio State obviously won. So yeah, we're gonna talk about that, and then we'll just talk about the playoffs. So a lot coming in this show. If you like our type of content, please go ahead and like this on YouTube, subscribe, do all that stuff. You feel me? Do all of that. And you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, man, we're gonna have a good time. So Cam, without further ado, let's go ahead, jump into it. All right, so let's talk about the national championship game last night. Do you want to? Yeah, let's start there. Let's start with the national championship game last night. We're going to start off with college football first. So Ohio State does win, I believe, their 7th national championship, if I'm not correct. They do win their 7th national championship by knocking off Notre Dame 34-23. I thought that Ohio State did a really good job. I'll read off some of the stats. Will Howard had a really good game. He went 17 for 21, 231 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Junkins was absolutely incredible in this game. That's why you go get a guy like him in the portal. 121 yards, 3 touchdowns. He was absolutely tremendous. Jeremiah Smith had that big play at the end of the game, but for the most part, he was kind of contained until that last, throw down there. He went on and got 83 yards, 1 touchdown, 5 receptions. Buka, who I didn't even know till today. Do you know he's their leading receiver in yards in the whole program history? I didn't know that until today.
It makes sense because he's been there for like 4 years. So
yeah, so
most of them don't stay that long.
Yeah, normally it's like a 3 and out deal up there in Columbus. So he's actually the leader in receiving yards, and he had 77 yards as well. So I guess I'll give my take first. This is kind of what me and you talked about last week. This is kind of what we expected. Ohio State just got the boys. They got the horses. They got the people that can get after it. They got the playmakers. They got the 5 stars. And they put those 5 stars with the transfer portal 5 stars they got too, with like Caleb Downs, Quinshawn Junkins. So this is kind of what we expected from them. They paid $20 million for their roster. You better damn win a national championship when you paid $20 million for your roster. So again, kudos to them. I'm not trying to take away credit from them. I thought they was the best team all year I was saying Oregon, but then once we got to the playoffs, I was like, all right, it's Ohio State. Like once I seen what they did to Tennessee, I was like, all right, bro, like they here to stay. Like I'm not gonna lie. So in my personal opinion, I'm not surprised by this at all. I know a lot of people don't like Ryan Day, and I don't really care for him either. But the way Ohio State fans talked crap about him to me after being like 66-10 was absolutely uncalled for, absolutely a shame. And, again, man, I think I'm happy for him because of all the crap he got. He should be not talked about getting fired no more. I know me and you even brought it up after the Michigan game because we was like, if he don't win it all, he might get canned. But I think now he won it all. Even if he loses again to Michigan, maybe even for the next 2 years, I'm not going to lie, he should still keep his job. He just won a national title. Like, let's be real here. I think Ohio State fans need to be a lot more grateful for him. And I think, we'll see what happens. But I think Ohio State's in a good spot as a program. I like what they're doing. They're building through the portal and also as well in the recruiting ranks, as they always do. And again, me and you have talked about it. It's not really hard to recruit Ohio State. It's the Ohio State. That's what the way they make it seem like. So good for them. Congratulations to them. And that's pretty much all I had to say about it.
Yeah, I ain't really got too much to say. I will say that to piggyback off what you were saying, I don't think the college football season is built for 16 or 17 games.
No.
Like I think we gotta find a way to end the season a little bit earlier. You know what I'm saying? So maybe start the season earlier, or maybe don't have such a long layoff between the championship games and the playoffs or something like that. And this is an unpopular opinion, but I do think that the Army-Navy game, they should move to like week 0 or something like that. I don't mind it. I don't really, because I don't watch it anyway, so I don't really care for them having their own week. I'm not really digging all of that, so I think they should move. No disrespect to the military or nothing like that, but they should move that game to like the beginning of the season. I think that's a better kickoff game than a season-ending game, if you will. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they got to find a way to shorten the season, or at least shorten the amount of time that we have within the season, because I mean this is NFL playoff season right now. Like, this is what we care. We don't care about. Nobody was caring about that game last night, Ohio State and Notre Dame. First of all, it was 31-7 at one point. Some people turned the game off. I know I kind of stopped watching. I had it on in the background, but I wasn't paying attention to it until Notre Dame came back and started to make it a game late in the fourth quarter. But at the end of the day, man, the season dragged on too long, and we gotta figure this out. I think people really lost interest. So figure something out about that. And as far as Ohio State goes, it's about time, to be honest with you. They really should be winning more championships than they do. I mean, to be completely honest with you, they get the most 5-stars in the country on a consistent basis. They get the most transfers. I mean, like you said, they call themselves the Ohio State University, but they don't win a lot of championships for a team that's supposed to be so good. You know what I mean? So I think for them, this is a good win. This is really a bigger win for the Big Ten, because the Big Ten and really that whole region, because I'm gonna include Notre Dame in that region too, because even though they're not Big Ten, they're in that region. The Big Ten has back-to-back national champions for the first time in like 80-something years, I think they said. The two biggest brands in the Big Ten are on top right now with Michigan and Ohio State. The big game actually means something. I mean, literally, your winner or your two teams in that game have won the last 2 national championships, and they compete for them on a consistent basis. So that was huge for the Big Ten as a conference as a whole. Oregon was in the mix. Penn State was in the mix. You know what I'm saying? That's just a huge plus. And now the transfer portal is kind of, the South really needs to kind of think about what the transfer portal is doing. You know what I'm saying? And what NIL is doing, because, now Alabama ain't want to chip in some years. Georgia has seemed like they're taking a step back. You know what I mean? The SEC as a whole was kind of weak this whole bowl season. You know what I mean? The ACC hasn't looked too good outside of a few teams. So the South kind of needs to keep in mind what this NIL transfer portal era is really doing to college football. Because like I said, for the first time in back-to-back years, a team hasn't won from the South. You know what I mean? For the first time in 80-something years. So that's important. That really is important. The landscape in college football really is changing.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like I said, I can't really disagree with it anymore, man. I think, like you said, the landscape of college football is changing. I mean, now we're seeing back-to-back years where an SEC team wasn't even in the national championship. So, I mean, again, that's something that we used to didn't see a couple years ago. I think NIL, transfer portal, all those things are just changing things now. And I think it does benefit schools like Ohio State, obviously, that have big fan bases, big alumni bases, stuff like that. I definitely think it's good for those type of schools, and even for some of these like middle schools that might have like decent alumni bases, but they've never really won anything. Like for example, like let's say like a Syracuse, for example, they had a really good season this year. They went 9-3. They have a big like broadcast. Like a lot of broadcasters went to Syracuse and stuff like that. So they have a big alumni base. So it was interesting to see those type of things there. So let's kind of cap off the college football season real quickly, and then we're gonna move on to the NFL because that's gonna be where the majority of everything's happening today. So let me ask you a question, Kim. Do you think the best team in the country won yesterday?
Yeah, I always think the best team in the country wins. I mean, if you win the last game of the season, you're the best team in the country. You know what I'm saying? There's really no debating it. I do think they were the best team in the country because if you look at what they did in the playoffs, at the very least, they were the hottest team in the country. You know what I mean? And from a talent perspective, me and you both said it before the season started that we thought Georgia and Ohio State were the two most talented teams in the country. So at the end of the day, yes, they lost 2 games, but I mean, it didn't matter at the end of the day. They were able to win a national championship, and that's all that really matters. That's all that anybody cares about. I think I don't think any team in the country lost 1 game, right? Everybody lost at least 2. Is that right?
Yeah, I think everybody. Oh no, Oregon. Oregon was the only one that lost only 1.
Oregon lost once, so Oregon.
But everybody else, I think, at least got 2 losses.
Yeah. So, and Ohio State was able to avenge their loss, and they were able to knock out the team that knocked them out of the Big Ten championship game. They were able to knock them out of the playoffs. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I do think the best team won. You can look at what they did to Tennessee. Look at what they did to Oregon. Look at what they did to who else did they play? Texas. And then last night against Notre Dame. I mean, they had their way with pretty much everybody. So, I mean, I can't say they aren't because nobody else showed me that they were, Yeah. So.
Yeah, I agree. I 100% agree with you. I think Ohio State was the best team, especially once that Michigan loss happened. Honestly, the Michigan loss might have been the best thing that happened for them this season, to be quite frankly honest. So good for them. One more thing before we move on. Early prediction of who you would pick next year. Like early prediction of who you think are contenders. Give me like 2 teams, 2 or 3 teams you think are early, like I can see them being, in the natty next year.
I'm gonna give you 4.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you Ohio State. I'm gonna give you one from the Power 4. I'm gonna give you Ohio State. I'm gonna give you Texas. I'm gonna give you Clemson.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna give you shoot. I'm gonna give you. I'm gonna say we'll go Georgia.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. I like that top 4. I think I pretty much do agree with that top 4 actually, because I think Clemson's going to be pretty good next year. I think they'll be better than they were this year for sure.
Yeah,
because a lot of their team is coming back. A lot of them they've loaded up in the portal too as well. I don't think we've realized this. Clemson has a top like 10 portal class right now. So they've done a pretty decent job in the portal too. They haven't got a lot in the portal, but the guys they have got seem to be like impact type of players.
They haven't lost anybody,
and they haven't lost a lot of people either.
Yeah.
So you got to give Clemson credit on that. So yeah, that's gonna be interesting to see. So yeah, I kind of agree with that 4. I think I would probably go with the same 4 to think about it. I would definitely go Ohio State, Texas, Clemson. I think will be in the mix. Yeah, I'm not mad at that. Georgia, I think, will be kind of right up in there as well. I think Penn State, you can make an argument because they're bringing a lot of people back too. So I think Penn State will be right in that mix as well. So those are kind of the teams I think as well. Now, we got to go ahead and jump into it. We got to jump on your boys first, man. Let's go ahead and start transitioning over to the NFL. And I'll let you get your bars off first, actually, because since it's your team. All right, so let's talk about the Bills and the Ravens. Ravens lose to the Bills 27-25. Pretty competitive game, though, throughout the game. Buffalo, again, Josh Allen really didn't do much. He went 16 for 22, 127 yards. he didn't really do anything special. What was special was those running backs. Cook had 82 yards. Ray Davis had 29 yards and 1 touchdown. He was pretty good. The Teron Johnson kid, or Johnson, whatever his name is, he was pretty good as well. I think he had 39 yards. And then for the Baltimore Ravens, Lamar Jackson went 18 for 25, 254 yards, 2 picks, but he also had an interception and a pretty costly fumble. Isaiah Likely had a really good game. 4 receptions for 73 yards. Bateman, again, we talked about him last week. He's really showed up this year big time, man. 4 catches for 66 yards and a touchdown. Derrick Henry did his thing. I wish he would have got the ball more. He only got 16 carries. In a game like that where it was already kind of super physical, probably should have been getting closer to like 22, 23 in my personal opinion, but 84 yards. Mark Andrews, I mean, he had a rough night, but we'll get into him in a minute. 5 carries for 64 yards. I want your take on it first, Cam. What do you think? I'm gonna let you go first, bro.
So a couple of things. Let's get the obvious out the way. The first half was abysmal. The first half was bad. All right. For Lamar had a rough first half. The interception was pretty bad, but for me it was the fumble that was worse than the pick.
Yeah.
The pick they didn't even score off of that, so it don't even matter. The fumble was bad.
Yeah.
To me, the fumble is really what made me think like, okay, we're not gonna get over the hump this year. Because when I saw that, like that was just such a fluke fumble, and it's one of those things that we keep beating ourselves. We keep every year, every big game. You look at the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game last year, we beat ourselves. You look at the Chiefs' first game of the season, we beat ourselves. You know what I'm saying? You look at the Raiders game, second game of the season, beat ourselves. You feel me? The Browns game, beat ourselves. You feel me? The Steelers game, same way. You couldn't really get things going. And then last night or the other night against the Bills, beat ourselves. And it's the same types of stuff that happens. Number one is turnovers. Turnovers that don't even happen in the regular season the way they do. I mean, it's just fluke stuff. Turnovers. And then not running the ball. Think about it. We're talking about the Baltimore Ravens. Not running the football, that's part of your identity. I'm talking historical identity. Like, this is it's become a habit. I hope Todd Monken fixes that in year 3, heading into the playoffs. If they make it again, you got to run Derrick Henry. At this point, it's playoff season. There is no, 16, 18, 20 carries. No. You brought Derrick Henry in for a reason. 30 times. And I'm not even kidding. When we get to the playoffs, 25 to 30 times. Touches. You know what I'm saying? Justice Hill had a great night last night. He averaged like 8 yards a carry. You could have ran him more if you wanted to, but and Lamar Jackson had 0 design runs called for him last night, which again, first quarterback in NFL history to go for 4,900 in a single season, and you decided not to run him. I thought that was ridiculous. No read options was called. You get into the red zone, you decided not to run the ball to Derrick Henry 3 times from the 3-yard line. Like, that's the type of stuff that cost the team. You know what I mean? It's that type of thing. Then you move into the second half, right? Lamar was locked in, okay? Then now, all of a sudden, Mr. Reliable Mark Andrews forgot that he was Mark Andrews. He had a real nasty fumble off of a juke, thinking he's Zay Flowers, thinking he can make something happen. And I've been saying this all year about the Ravens because I've been saying it about Flowers. I'm tired of him doing that. But I don't expect Mark Andrews. I expect Zay Flowers to do that, but I don't expect Mark Andrews to do that and then get peanut punched and fumble. And then, obviously, the last drive of the game was masterful by the Ravens. But unfortunately, we just weren't able to collect. And that 2-point conversion, that drop, I mean, that's going to haunt Ravens fans for years to come. I mean, I still think about the Zay Flowers goal line fumble from the last year's AFC Championship game. I mean, that type of stuff still haunts me. So we keep beating ourselves. And, I mean, I can't notice. Not one time did I say anything about the Buffalo Bills because what did they do in that game? I mean, they didn't do anything. Nobody's talking about what the Buffalo Bills did. I'm not trying to discredit them because they took care of business and they was at home. They did exactly what they were supposed to do. But what did they do? They didn't do anything because the Baltimore Ravens kept giving them chance after chance after chance. The second half, I don't even know if Buffalo even scored in the second half. I think they might have scored 1 kick, 1 field goal. But that's it. They wasn't even moving the ball. That we was stopping the run. They was going 3 and out. They weren't doing anything. And yet the Baltimore Ravens still somehow found a way to not capitalize and to beat themselves. And it's the stuff that keeps happening time and time and time again. I'm not calling for no heads to roll. I'm not saying that you got to fire Harbaugh. I'm not saying that Lamar can't get it done. I'm not saying that Derrick Henry didn't do his job. I'm not saying Todd Monken needs to be fired. I'm not saying none of that. I'm just saying at some point, everybody in that organization needs to lock in and they need to figure out how to stop beating themselves. That's the only thing. I mean, that's it. And y'all can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but if I'm not mistaken, in the Lamar Jackson era, they've never lost by more than 10 points. And I'm so serious about this. Like every game they've lost, they've never lost by more than 10. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. Y'all can go back and look at all the scores, but I know this year they didn't lose any game by more than one possession. I know last year they didn't lose any games by more than one possession. So y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but they don't lose by more than one possession ever. It's just, and those one possessions come down to not taking care of the football and beating yourself, calling dumb stuff, it's just they trying to get too cute, man. Like, what are you doing in the snow? We're talking about in the snow, bro. You got big Derrick Henry, and he was eating. Justice Hill was eating. That's the type of stuff that just makes you go crazy. You know what I mean? So go ahead, T. Lay in on my boys, man. Let me hear what you got, man.
Okay, so let me say this real quickly. I thought I'm gonna get the positive out the way first. I thought they fought hard in the fourth quarter. Even Lamar. Actually, I know this don't sound great. I still think, and I'm looking at the stats now from all Lamar's games in the playoffs, that was probably his best one, if I can be completely honest, especially in the fourth quarter. He looked like regular season Lamar in the fourth quarter. I'm not gonna lie to you. I got a few things to get off about the Ravens, but I am going to start at Lamar first. And I want you to even correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think Lamar needs to get all the blame, and I don't think Mark Andrew needs to get all the blame because that defense was getting absolutely ran through like Metamucil through a daggone body. They was getting ran through, brother. Like they was getting ran through straight up. So it shouldn't it shouldn't be. And I will say this, another positive thing. I love how Lamar stood up for, Andrews and said, "Hey, bro, don't be on here casting blame to him. I fumbled the ball and threw a crazy pick at the beginning of the game too." You know what I'm saying? So I like how he stood up. Lamar just seems like a really stand-up dude and a good dude in general. But let me kind of get on Lamar a little bit. I don't think that it's a coincidence that anytime there is a playoff game, anytime, I'm going to read you off the stats so I can prove my point. Anytime there is a playoff game, Lamar's production does this. At this point, we've seen 5 years of evidence since 2019. I mean, this is the truth. If we're going to call people, if we're going to get on James Harden in the NBA, if we're going to get on Joel Embiid in the NBA for the same thing, we got to hold, even I love Lamar too. I'm starting to feel like he might be a regular season merchant. Now, am I saying that it's impossible that he can change that? No. He can definitely change it. He can definitely change the narrative. He's still young. I don't even think he's 30 yet. So he has time to change that narrative. Peyton Manning was the same way. But I eventually got to see it in the playoffs. And I'm not even going up again. I'm not even talking about losing to the Chiefs. Like if he would have won the other day ago and lost to the Chiefs, I wouldn't have cared because it's like, nigga, that's Patrick Mahomes. Like I'm not tripping. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not tripping on losing to Patrick Mahomes. You losing to Patrick Mahomes is like losing to Brady or like in basketball losing to MJ. Nobody's going to get mad at you. That's why Barkley and guys like that, they never won a ring, but they had to go up against MJ. That's why they're so respected because, all right, you lost to MJ. Like nobody's going to sit up here and shame you for that. So if Lamar would have at least made it to the AFC Championship and lost, I probably would have been like, all right, well, he went up against Mahomes. But it's these games like this where I personally thought the Bills were not as talented as the Ravens. I thought the Ravens were the better team. And in the fourth quarter, they kind of started showing they was the better team. It was just too late at that point. I'm going to read you off some stats. And I'm going to read you off the teams that Lamar has lost to in the playoffs. And I'm going to read you off his stats as well. He's only got one loss against an elite quarterback, and that's last year. Well, two. We'll say last night in against Kansas City last year. I'm going to read you off the stats, bro. In 2019, he went up against the Chargers. Listen to these stats. He went 14 for 29, so pretty much not even 50% completion percentage. 194 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. Yeah, just kind of, The next year is when he played against Tennessee. This the year they lost. He threw the ball 59 times. He went 39 and threw 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions in a loss. Then the following year, they played Tennessee, and he beat them. He came back and beat them. Then he threw the ball 17 for 24, 179 yards, no touchdowns, and an interception. So again, not really a great game, but they did win. Then he played Buffalo the following year, right? So he goes in, plays Buffalo, and he lost to them, right? 14 for 24, 162 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception. Then after that
was a pick 6 at the goal line too.
And pick 6 at the goal line, exactly. Pick 6 at the goal line on top of that. Then last year, right, comes 2024. Houston, he went 16 for 22, 152 yards. I mean, nothing like that ain't moving mountains, but he didn't turn over the ball, and he had 2 touchdowns. All right. Yeah. Again, I don't even care about what he did against the Chiefs, but I'll read it off. Actually, this probably might be his best game. He went 272, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Then he had the game last week against Pitt, right? 16 for 21, 175, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. And then he had this game where I actually think this might be Lamar statistically his best game, to be quite frankly honest. He went 254 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. It's no way that you not seeing the drop-off when the playoffs come. Like, it's just, we got to be honest here. And I'm a Lamar Jackson fan, but if we're going to get on James Harden and we're going to get on Joel Embiid and we're going to get on these guys that get to the playoffs and then flop, I feel like we kind of got to do the same for Lamar. Like, for example, I'm not going to lie, Cam, if Lamar and them would have lost same exact score and Lamar did everything he could to win that game, let's say he went 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, I would have been like, that ain't on him. The rest of his team let him down. But when them 2 turnovers he had was so disgusting, I'm not going to lie. The pick was bad and the fumble was really bad. Like, it was and the fumble, he did that mid.
The fumble was crazy.
I think he's psyched up. Like, I think he's in his own head. Like, and again, I'm not going to be on here and just say it's Lamar's fault that they won, because I'm about to get on the rest of the team in a few seconds. But we gotta be honest. As of now, he's kind of a regular season merchant at this point until he starts showing it a little bit more in the playoff game. Because even in the playoff games they've won, he ain't looked that great as I just read off to you, to be quite frankly honest. Like I said, this actually statistically might be his best one, and he didn't look good in that either. Yeah. So, again, I need him to start showing it in January. Now, Mark Andrews, let me talk about you real quickly. Brother, I'm actually more upset with you than Lamar, because like you kind of said, Cam, he was doing stuff that was just out of characteristics. Dropping touchdown passes, 2-point conversion. I mean, wide open. I mean, my God. Wide open, dropping touchdown passes. I don't know who he think he is. You've never been somebody that's going to try to create a juke. Why did you even think in that moment in the snow that was time for that to happen? I just don't get it. Like, just bad decision making from him. I do feel sorry for him because he's going to get a lot of ridicule this offseason, and it's going to be tough.
It's a contract. It's not a contract year, but it's a contract situation year for him too. So that's what make it even harder. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's gonna be rough. It's gonna be rough for him. I mean, that's just the only way around. It's gonna be rough for him. So I am kind of interested to see how that's gonna play out. Again, I gotta get on John Harbaugh, and I'm not saying he should be fired, and I'm not saying he's like a bad coach or anything like that. But we do kind of start having a conversation about him as far as People talk about Mike Tomlin not getting over the hump. You could argue John Harbaugh has had more talented teams and definitely more talented quarterbacks at this point, and has not gotten over the hump since 2012. And I'm not even saying like win a championship. Just get there.
Yeah,
And I would be okay.
Yeah.
Like, just get to the Super Bowl and I'd be like, you know what, John Harbaugh, you got to the Super Bowl. But it's these teams, especially with Lamar being elite these last 4 years, you can't get 15 at least once. Like, I ain't saying, and then like Cincinnati did it. Cincinnati got them once, you know what I'm saying? And I think Lamar's probably a little bit better than Joe Burrow, or about the same. You know, I don't know, man. At some point, if we're gonna say these type of things about Mike Tomlin, like a lot of people do, there needs to be a conversation about John Harbaugh as well. And I'm not saying he should get fired. That ain't what I'm saying. But what I am saying is kind of what you said. People need to look themselves in the mirror and say, okay, man, what is it going to take? What is it going to take for us to get over the hump? This has been now, Cam, 5 years in a row, y'all pretty much ran into the same exact issues, essentially?
So it was 2 years when Lamar got hurt. So really, it's really been 4.
Okay.
So it's been the last 2 seasons, and then the 2 seasons before that he was hurt. And then the 2 seasons before that was the seasons that we should have been able to get, well, really just to just say 3 years. It's been 3 years where they should have at least made it to the Super Bowl. I mean, at least once. Last year, definitely.
I think last year they should have, yeah.
Definitely, because they had the number one defense last year.
They were better than the Chiefs last year. And the Zay Flower fumbles is something that comes back to mind. It's that play. I mean, they had a lot of bad little mistakes in that game, but
last year for sure.
Yeah, last year they should have had that. Yeah, I agree 100%. But again, man, for me personally, and I think the Ravens are one of the best ran organizations, not just in the NFL, in all of sports. They always seem to be doing the right things, but they eventually kind of at least got to get back to the Super Bowl. Like, I'm not saying win it even, just get back there. And I felt like this year and last year was a great chance for them to do it, and they just didn't do it. Like last year, y'all had home field advantage, right?
Last year they was a number 1 seed. They should have done it last year. That's why I said last year they had a number 1 defense. I mean, last year there was really no excuse last year.
But the Chiefs wasn't even that elite last year.
I mean, the only excuse you could possibly make, I mean, you can't even really make that excuse is that they ain't have much of a run game. But obviously, we talking about
because that was Ravens. Last year. Mahomes was battling that high ankle sprain, wasn't he? Was that last year?
I don't remember that.
Okay, that might have been 2 years ago.
I mean, it could have been. He always battling an ankle injury though. I feel like he got bad ankles. I ain't gonna lie to you, because he hurt his ankle earlier this year. Still be balling. It clearly don't hurt him that bad.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that was my bars I had to get off about. I know that took a little while, but that was my bars I had to get off about the Ravens.
I did want to counter your point a little bit about his stats. Mm-hmm. You didn't bring up the rushing stats. You know, you always got to add them to the
okay. I'll even add them. Matter of fact, I got to pull it up right here.
So because the Texas game, because I did want to point that out, he had two passing touchdowns and 2 rushing touchdowns.
Oh, this don't show the rushing. Hold on.
Yeah, so the Texas game they was just dominant so bad that we just stopped passing. You know what I'm saying? So that's why he only had like 150. But pull up. But I am curious about his rushing stats again.
I'm pulling it up right now. Yeah. I'm literally pulling it up right now. I'm trying to see what his rushing stats was. Playoff rushing stats. But yeah, like I said,
and then also another thing too. 2019 was the year he filled in for Joe Flacco, so he wasn't even a full. He was a full-time starter by then, but he wasn't like.
Yeah, I'll give him a little grace on that then.
Yeah, he was still young then, but after that. We didn't have the number 1 seed twice, so it's time to lock in.
Y'all had the number 1 seed twice.
Yeah, so his first MVP season.
Okay, I didn't know that.
So that was 2020 because they were 14.
Y'all had it last year,
and then last year. So yeah, so the 2020 playoffs they had the number 1 seed, and then the 2024 playoffs they had the number 1 seed, and then this year they had the 3rd seed. So in my opinion, if you had a number 1 seed, at the very least, you got to make the conference championship game at the very least.
Yeah.
If you got the number 1 seed, because you got home field advantage, so there's really no excuse to be losing. You can lose in the conference championship if you want to, but there's really no excuse. Now, last year, like you said, they were a better team than the Chiefs. Nobody, to my knowledge, was really hurt other than Keaton Mitchell. So this year, I mean, you could kind of make the excuse that Zay Flowers was hurt, but likely Andrews and Bateman all stepped up. So it ain't like, I mean, shoot, even the Tylen Wallace and the Anthony Miller stepped up. I mean, they was all getting busy. So like,
right.
This year,
so let me read off. I'm gonna digress. Pittsburgh last week was actually probably his best playoff game because you're right. He had 15 carries for 81 yards. That's pretty impressive. So I got to give him credit on that. That's pretty impressive. I'm trying to find the rest of the years. It's just showing me this year's. But you're right, though. You do have to include, let me go down here to 2023 too, to his rushing yards. So, yeah, you're right. The Texans game, he went crazy too last year. He had 11 carries for 100 yards exactly, and then 2 touchdowns. So that's pretty impressive as well. So you are right on that. You do got to include his rushing stats in there as well. So again, and I'm reading even the Tennessee game that they lost in 2020 or the one they won, he did have the one that he threw the ball a lot in. He did go 16 for 136 yards and a touchdown. So that's pretty impressive. I'm not gonna lie. It just didn't result into a win, unfortunately.
It just ain't help.
It just didn't help. So again, I think we just need more performances like that, but a win attached to it.
A win.
Now, again, I think if it's the Chiefs, I'll give them a little bit of a pass. Because it's the Chiefs. But any other team, I'm not gonna lie, he needs to win that. Let's move on to, because I want to talk about the Rams and the Eagles. And you was kind of on point on this one last week on the pod. You said, Tony, don't sleep on them Rams. They gonna hang in there. And you was kind of right. They hung in there. I think the snow, like I was kind of telling you last week, the snow made the difference because the Rams kept falling. They kept fighting in that game. If that snow wouldn't have got too bad, I think they might could have did it for real. Not gonna lie, Saquon Barkley's an absolute stud, by the way. Again, man, just a tremendous game from him. 232 yards, 2 touchdowns. Again, not a lot of passing yards from Jalen Hurts because it was snowing so bad. 15 for 20, 128 yards, but he did have a pretty good rushing game as well. I thought the Rams did a couple things good too. I thought Stafford at times looked pretty good. I know he started fumbling the ball towards the end of the game, but he went 26 for 44, 2 touchdowns. Puka Nacua was really good. Kyron Williams ran for over 100 yards as well. So they did some good things. But again, I'll give my take on it real quick. I think the better team won. I think the conditions kind of played a role into it though as well. Like if that game was in LA and it was at their crib, or even if it was like neutral site with no snow, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, because the Rams was fighting in that game, and we talked about that last week. McVay's teams is always going to show up, bro. That's just what it is. They're never going to be completely sorry. Like, that's just what it is. So I thought it was a really good game. I thought they battled hard. I thought they made it close there towards the end. I was like, ooh, okay. It might get shaky here, but again, the snow did play a big role in that. But in my personal opinion, I think that, the Rams fought hard. I think the better team won, though, in the Eagles, in my personal opinion. What you think?
Yeah, man. I just like you said last week, you can't ever count out Sean McVay and the Rams, man. I'm honestly surprised. I know they had a pretty solid season. Like they were up and down, but they had a lot of ups. I think they had a really long win streak towards the end of the year too. The thing about the Rams is, like, first and foremost, let's talk about that defense. That defense is loaded. Them boys, and they young.
And they young too,
bro.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of be on the lookout for them, man. Verse, Fisk, Kobe Turner, obviously. They got a lot of talent just all over that defense. I mean, they pretty special. But on the flip side of the things, man, you can't count out they have a veteran quarterback, somebody who's pretty much a coach on the field at the end of the day. I mean, he knows exactly what he's doing. He plays so good. I mean, that deep bomb to Puka Nacua late in the game,
crazy. That's a crazy throw, bro.
And I can understand. I mean, Stafford got to be about 40 now, bro.
He's going crazy.
He up there and he's still going crazy. Like, it's just
he's going to go down as one of the most underrated quarterbacks, probably of our
Easily,
Time.
bro. Easily, man.
He's
Easily
36, about to be 37 in 3 weeks.
easily. Wait, he young. Okay. Dang, he's the same age as Kirk Cousins.
Yep,
Dang.
same age as Kirk Cousins. Yep.
Kirk older than Kirk kind of old then. For somebody
Mhm.
that came in the league about 4 years after him.
Yep.
But anyway, I just think that like you said, the better team won, bro. I mean, Saquon Barkley is a stud, bro. I mean, he's the best player in the game right now. Ain't really no debating it at this point. I mean, he's outstanding. I thought he dominated them. I mean, it's crazy how he dominated them when the field was dry and when the field was snowing. I mean, that
still
jump
was hooping,
still going crazy. I mean, he is a special player. The New York Giants don't get enough slander for letting him walk like that, and they really need to be relegated back to the USFL because that was embarrassing. But I look, at the end of the day, the Eagles were the better team. They should be favored moving forward too. I mean, they really are probably the most complete team in the field if we're being completely honest. So they look really good against the Rams. I did have a question to you though.
Yeah.
Stafford, well, I just wanted to bring this up. Stafford is contemplating retirement. I don't know if you've seen that.
I didn't see that, no.
So Stafford is contemplating retirement. So that begs the question, where do the Rams go from there? Because if Stafford's gone, what are they going to do at quarterback?
At quarterback, yeah.
Because I think his backup.
I could see them taking a guy like Carson back, low key.
See, that's what I'm saying.
He's
not coming out.
Like the type of. He's not coming out. That's right.
He's in Miami.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, because I was thinking the same
Ewers,
thing. I was
maybe Ewers.
I can see
a guy like Ewers.
I can see it because I think he got similar qualities. But no.
I wouldn't take him at least late second, probably. But they can't even do that. We have their second pick, the Panthers. So they might be screwed. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, what I'm saying. So if
he retires, they might be cooked because I'm trying to think of big money players they have on their team. So obviously Cooper.
Nakua.
Well, he not big money, but no, he ain't got paid yet though.
Yes, right.
I'm talking about people that have been paid. Higbee just got paid.
Yep.
I want to look at their cap situation. I might pull that up in a few seconds here. I just wonder, can they maybe just go out and get somebody like in free agency? Is what I'm wondering. Or could they trade for a big time quarterback?
The only person they can get is Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
Because who is available? Because I'm trying to think whose contract is.
What do you think the future of Justin Fields is?
Oh, boy, don't.
I'm just saying.
Don't put that in my mind, because if they
come on, Sean McVay with Justin Fields.
Oh boy,
he might can figure something out with him, bro. That's what I'm saying.
What?
You feel
that
me?
would
What's
be
the situation?
Nice.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. That's why I said, what's the situation with the Steelers? I would see what that's talking about.
There's more players I was thinking about. So Fields is an option. Sam Darnold is going to be an option for them.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson is going to be an option for them. I don't know if they're going to hitch their wagon to an older quarterback again, but he does have the experience that McVay kind of likes. Kirk Cousins is going to be an option, but Fields, bro, that's intriguing. Man, if Stafford does retire and they're able to get Justin Fields, oh my God. Anywhere, I just hope the Jets. I just don't want the Jets to get him, bro. I think I don't want the Jets to get Justin Fields. I think he's better off going to. I think the Jets. I actually think they might relink with Darnold. Matter of fact,
they might.
Matter of fact, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
With the Rams.
With Rams would do something. Yeah, if he doesn't retire.
Yeah, I think he actually I actually think there's a better chance of him coming back next year than Stafford.
So you don't think Stafford's Jover?
The way he been talking, because like he kind
of I ain't been paying attention to Stafford like that. So
they said he went AWOL, and his wife for some reason she always sharing about what they got going on, but she said he really thinking about hanging it up. And then Rodgers, he be on his podcast. He always was like, I probably ain't coming back to the Jets, but I'll give another team a shot. So I think Rodgers definitely coming back next year. But Stafford, don't be surprised if he actually hang it up.
Dang, that's crazy.
Because I don't know if you remember last year, he said because again, his wife was the one who said it, but she said that he has trouble communicating with the younger players. Remember, I think it was just a joke, but like still, that was something that he was saying. Like some of the young guys come in, and you know, it's a different generation. You know what I mean for him, because I think he's an '80s baby. So so it's a little different for him. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I hope he don't hang it up, but
we'll see what happens with that. Let's move on to the Eagles' future opponent, Washington. Washington pulled probably the biggest upset in a playoff we've seen in a while. 45-31 over the Lions. Ben Johnson obviously taking a job in Chicago. Looks like Aaron Glenn probably gonna take a job too. So that whole little nucleus seems like it's about to be blown up a little bit. 45-31. Let's go over some of these stats real quickly, Cam. That kid, Jaden Daniels, man. I talked about it last week, and I'm going to get into it in a few seconds. 22 for 31, 299 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Terry McLaurin, 87 yards, 4 receptions, 1 touchdown. De'Ami Brown, Charlotte native, has had a really good postseason. 6 catches for 98 yards. He was really good in this game. Brian Robinson Jr., 72 yards on 15 carries, 2 touchdowns.
Jaden Daniels had another 51 yards on the ground.
Yep. Jared Goff, 3 interceptions, was absolutely horrific in this game. He did throw for 300 yards, but he was terrible in this game. Gibbs is absolutely spectacular. If Gibbs wasn't splitting carries with Montgomery, he would be up there as far as stat wise with Saquon. That kid's special, bro. He's good. 175 yards, 2 touchdowns. He was absolutely spectacular. I'm gonna say this, and I know I told you I was gonna wait to the podcast to say this. I know we talked about CJ Stroud last year being the best rookie quarterback we've ever seen. I think he's been replaced already. This guy has 2 playoff games, and really 2 playoff game wins he had no business in winning. On top of that, he's found himself in the NFC Championship game already as a rookie, and he looks like the most composed rookie in the league. One of the most composed quarterbacks in the league right now as a rookie. Cam, I'm going to say something that a lot of people may disagree with this, and this may be a little hot take-ish. I think Jaden Daniels is already the best quarterback in the NFC. I'm taking him over Jalen Hurts. Like, I'm just being real. After what I have seen, I picked him to lose that game the other day ago. And that defense had been clicking on. That defense had been clicking on all year. He put up 45 on them. 45 on one of the best defenses in the NFL, bro. I'm sorry. I think Jaden Daniels is the absolute truth. I was absolutely completely wrong about him. I thought he was just going to be a good college player. No, he's going to be a really good NFL player too as well. This guy's spectacular, bro. I don't think I would take 6 quarterbacks over Jaden Daniels right now. 6 to 7 I would probably take. The only guys I would take over Jaden Daniels at this point, again, Mahomes, that's always. Burrow, that's always. Lamar, that's always. Josh Allen, that's always. Dude, he already has more wins than Justin Herbert right now in the playoffs. That's probably the list. I'm putting Jaden Daniels right there. I think I got to go with Jaden Daniels, bro. I'm not going to. This kid's special. He just got that, and we talked about it last week. He just got that it factor, bro. I don't even know what it is. But he got it. And at this point, I'm not doubting that kid no more. I ain't saying they're going to win this weekend, and we'll go over our predictions in a minute, but I'm not doubting that kid no more, bro. That's all I got to say about it. I'm not doubting that kid no more.
Yeah. I agree, bro. I agree with everything you said. I think he's top 5 straight up. I think he's probably the best quarterback in the NFC at this point. I think he's the hottest quarterback in the NFC right now.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I don't think there's really no debate about that. I mean, think about how legendary this would be for him to potentially take his team to the Super Bowl in year 1 as a rookie. Bro, if he's able to pull that off, if he's able to beat the Eagles this weekend, far and away that this is the best rookie quarterback season in NFL history. I mean, you could really make the argument he's already there now because he just made the conference championship in year one. I mean, he completely turned that program around. I mean, what they had second pick last year. They had the second pick. That's how bad they were. They had the second pick, and now at minimum they're gonna have the fourth worst pick in the draft. You know what I'm saying? They're picking no lower than 28 in the NFL draft this year. Like that's how important. That's a big swing, bro. They done went from what were they last year? 4-13 to 12-5. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on. And he started every game. Come on, man. I mean, he's been outstanding this year. His playoffs. I mean, he's calm and collected. I mean, he's just. I mean, what more can you really say about him? And if we being completely honest, I'll even take it a step further. That Washington team, offensively, they all right. They all right. You know what I'm saying? It's not the best offense in the game. Absolutely not. But he making it work. I'm not saying they don't have no help. Terry McLaurin is an outstanding wide receiver. De'Ami Brown, like you said, has been stepping up. Brian Robinson Jr. is a pretty good running back. Austin Eckler has been pretty good for them. But, I mean, at the end of the day, man, he really turned that franchise around.
Yeah.
And I got to give a big shout out to Dan Quinn, too, because I feel like Dan Quinn was done dirty in Atlanta. And now I'm kind of glad that he's getting another shot up in Washington. So, shout out to the Commanders, but they losing this weekend at the end of the day.
Yeah. Again, man, I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll talk about it in a minute, but man, they're a team, and like, I'm kind of with you. That team, they don't even really have not saying they trash, but they ain't really that talented either. Luvu's having a good season. Chen is having a really decent season as well. Again, Hurts has done decent this year, McLaurin, and also as well Eckler and JD5. Besides that, man, the rest of that team is kind of mid, honestly. Like the rest of them ain't really moving no mountains. So I'm kind of with you. We'll see what happens this weekend. And then let's move on to the last game. Obviously, Chiefs beat the Texans. I don't think nobody's surprised about that. 23-14. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes, another good game for him. 16 for 25, 177 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Travis Kelce really turned it on this game, too. 7 catches for 117 yards. He done seen to turn the clock back. 1 touchdown. Why is it always Kareem Hunt? Every time he gets in a Chiefs uniform, he just turns it up. Like when he plays with any other team, he's kind of mid. He gets on the Chiefs, he's running ramshack. 8 carries for 46 yards. He was averaging 5 yards a carry. He was absolutely spectacular too as well. I personally thought Stroud played pretty all right, in my personal opinion, especially behind that terrible old line. He went 19 for 28, 245 yards. I thought Mixon did a good job. I actually thought the Texans fought a little better than I even expected, to be quite frankly honest with you. I don't think they have nothing to put their heads down about. I think they played pretty well. Again, it's the Chiefs, bro. I'm not really gonna get into no deep soliloquies. It's the Chiefs, bro. It's like going up against the 2015 Panthers. It's like going up against the 85 Bears. It's like going up against those type teams, bro. It's the Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes. It's like going up against, MJ when he was with the Bulls. I mean, that's just what it is, bro. I'm not even about to get on Houston too bad. I thought they actually played pretty well. I thought they fought pretty hard. It's the Chiefs, bro. They on fire right now. They got the best quarterback in the game, and that's just that, bro. So that's my only take on that game. One more thing, though. I didn't really like that, even though we know it's definitely some BS going on with the Chiefs and the refs, and I didn't like how openly they was like, well, we know we gotta, it's okay for us to say that, we fans. But for y'all to come out and say that, and y'all actually the players and the coach, D'Amico even came out and was like, yeah, the refs is pretty much helping the Chiefs.
They said they paying them fines, bro. They ain't care.
Yeah, they was talking kind of crazy. I ain't gonna lie. I just didn't like that. I just didn't think that was a good look to come out, and you supposed to be professionals and coming out pretty much saying, well, the only reason they won is because of refs. I don't know. I just didn't. I don't know. I ain't really agree with that. Even though it might even been true. I just don't, I don't agree with that. But yeah, floor is yours.
Yeah, I mean, I ain't really got too much to say, man. I mean, it's the Chiefs, bro.
Yeah, it's the Chiefs, bro.
That's the way I look at it. What can you do? I think the Texans. I was actually impressed with the Texans, the fact that they even made it this far. Because I picked them to lose last week against the Chargers.
Yeah, we picked them to lose
and
against the Chargers.
The fact that they dominated the Chargers and they actually kind of stood their own against the Chiefs. I can't really knock them. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying.
And this is without Stephon Diggs and Tank Dell. So, I mean, I can't really hate on them for losing this game, and they really shouldn't be hating on themselves because they already told you why they felt like they lost. So I mean, if they felt like they did everything they could do, what more can you do? You know?
Yeah.
And nothing more you can really say or do. And then as far as the Chiefs goes, Travis Kelce really was the X factor for them this game, and he's always been that X factor for them. And I think he's kind of saving himself for the playoffs at this point because I mean he just clearly somehow then turned the clock back just that fast. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And then what you said about Kareem Hunt, I ain't gonna lie. He done kind of took that job from Pacheco because Pacheco was terrible since he came back.
Yeah.
Terrible since he came back. So
I was thinking that too. I was like, Pacheco might be cooked. I'm not gonna lie.
I would bring them boys back together next year, kind of the same way. Because the thing about Kareem Hunt, he was great his first stint in Kansas City. Yeah. But he's been really good when he has another running back that he can piggyback off of. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, he did that when in Cleveland for a couple of years with Chubb, and they were really good there.
Yeah.
But I think if Kansas City can keep him and Pacheco together as a duo, you know what I'm saying, they might be able to make something happen, you know? Well, I mean, it don't matter anyway, but you know what I mean? It might be it might be a second, it might be his permanent home, put it that way.
Yeah, for sure. Let's go ahead and hop into the games coming up this weekend between these teams. We got on Sunday afternoon at 3 Eastern time, we got Commanders versus the Eagles. I'm gonna let you go first. What do you think? Give me your prediction. What do you think of the game?
Yeah, it's in Philly. I'm taking Philly. I think did they split this year? They didn't split this year. I don't think.
I think the Eagles swept them.
I think the Eagles swept them. It don't mean nothing, but I think the Eagles. I think the Eagles swept them. And I think the Eagles, man, like I said, they're just a better team.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they have pretty much everything over the Commanders except for, I would say, head coach and quarterback. You know what I mean? I think that's the only thing that the Commanders really got over the Eagles at this point. But experience plays a factor. You know what I'm saying? The Eagles have been in this position before. And on top of that, now they have Saquon Barkley. I don't know. I don't think – I hate doubting the Commanders because we probably going to get on here laughing and kikiing next week if they win, but I just don't see it happening this week against the Philadelphia Eagles.
I'm torn, brother, because my mind is telling me take the Eagles because of everything you just said. Like, you're spot on with your analysis. Like, they've been here before, their experience. Honestly, let's be real. The Commanders have overachieved this year. Like, they've overachieved by far. I mean, this is a team I probably thought was going to win like 6 games this year. And they won 12 and are in the NFC Championship game. They've overachieved. Something about this team is just giving destiny. I don't know what it is. They're not that great. Like I said, logically, I want to take the Eagles. Give me the Commanders, bro. My heart is telling me go with the Commanders. I don't know what it is. And maybe I'm wrong. And again, I agree with your assessment. Your assessment is spot on. But this team is a team that just cannot seem to be denied. And that's what's kind of scaring me on picking the Eagles. It's not that what you're not saying. Everything you're saying is correct. But it's like this team just different, bro. I'm going with Jaden. I'm going with Jaden to the championship. I'm going to ride it on out. I got Jaden to the championship, bro.
You going to jinx them boys like that, bro?
Hey, listen.
You going to jinx them boys like that, man?
If I'm going to be realistic, I think the Eagles should win this game. But something's telling me go with Jaden them. I'm just, even though I think the Eagles are a better team, they're more experienced. Everything you said was absolutely correct. Like I said, I just think this team is some team of destiny, man. They beat the Detroit Lions, a team they wasn't supposed to beat. Who they play in the first game of the playoffs? Who was they?
The Bucks.
The Bucks. Okay, that was kind of like they were a pretty evenly matched team. But that Lions game kind of opened my eyes. Like, oh, this is different. Now, I would like to know what the weather is going to be in Philadelphia on Sunday, because that I think would play a role as well. Like if it's snowing, might switch my
Well,
pick.
I mean, how far is Washington from
I
Philly?
mean, ain't number 2 hours. Ain't number
I'm
like
about
a
to
2 hour
say
drive.
they should be all right.
Yeah,
They
ain't
should be okay.
I think it's Jayton though. He from California. He ain't played no
Yeah,
cold. He ain't
yeah,
played no
true,
snow like that. So that's why I'm like,
true.
I don't know, but we'll see. We'll see. And then let's get into the last game, which is probably I think the game people are like more like looking forward to, and that's gonna be the Bills versus the Chiefs. What you got? I'm gonna let you go first. What you got going? What you think?
Man, this game this is another big game, just like this weekend, bro.
Yeah,
I mean, look, let me just go ahead and put it out there. I'm gonna just go ahead and say it flat out.
yeah.
If Josh Allen somehow wins this game, give him all the accolades. You can say he's the best quarterback in the league. I don't even care. If he gets past the Chiefs and he makes the Super Bowl with
In
this Bills
Arrowhead,
roster, yeah, in Arrowhead with this Bills roster,
yeah,
boy, that's
pretty
that's
impressive.
that's pretty impressive. The problem is he ain't done it yet in the playoffs. They 0-3 against the Chiefs.
Yep.
And I'm not trying to vilify him because there's nothing wrong with that. I promise you.
Yeah, it
Because
ain't.
I mean, the only teams that have beat him has just been Brady and Burrow.
Brady
That's it.
and Burrow, that's it.
That's it. So listen, I'm going with the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Because number one, this is the Arrowhead Invitational. They're at home. Number two, we know what the NFL wants. They want that three-peat. So we know that's gonna happen. The NFL ain't gonna let Bills Commanders happen, bro. The NFL ain't gonna let Bills Eagles happen. They just not gonna let that happen. Not when a three-peat is on the line and a rematch of a Super Bowl from 2 years ago is on the line. They're not gonna allow that, bro. So unfortunately for Josh Allen and the Bills, it don't matter what y'all do. Y'all could quite literally have 600 yards of offense, 0 turnovers. It don't matter. When that clock hits 0, y'all gonna have fewer points than the Kansas City Chiefs. At the end of the day, that's all. Ain't nothing else they can do. They could be a better defensive team than them come Sunday. They could be a better offensive team. It don't even matter, bro.
Yeah.
The Chiefs are winning this game. I'm pulling my Houston Texans. They winning, bro. You can't. Don't matter what you do. One false start and that's game. Like that's it, bro. That's it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I think they're 0-3 against the Chiefs in playoff games. They beat them in the season a couple times, but in the playoff games, they're 0-3. Don't matter if they play it up there in Buffalo. Don't matter if they play it in Arrowhead. I'm kind of with you. I think 15 is going to. I've been saying if he gets to 4, I'm putting him above Brady because he's more talented than Brady. I think whoever wins this game is going to win the Super Bowl, though. I will say that. Whoever wins this game is going to win the Super Bowl, in my personal opinion. So if it's the Bills will win the Super Bowl. If it's the Chiefs will win the Super Bowl. But in my personal opinion, yeah, I'm kind of with you, man. It's in Arrowhead. They've struggled to get a win there. We haven't seen them win a game in January there. I'm kind of with you, bro. I think, and then when y'all talking about the refs and stuff, and we done seen what's going on, yeah, I'm kind of right there with you, bro. I think that the Chiefs win. I think it's going to be a barn burner. It's going to be a close one. It's going to be a good one. But I do think the Chiefs get a win here. And I think we see Chiefs and Commanders Super Bowl potentially. Or even Chiefs or Eagles, either one. Yeah. But either way, I think that the Chiefs wins this game. And this is another one because a lot of people like to hate on Josh Allen. I'm not one of them Josh Allen haters. But this is one I don't even like. If he loses, oh well, it's 15. Like I've been saying all night. Yeah, it don't even matter,
bro.
Yeah, it's 15, bro. It don't even matter. You lost to the GOAT, bro. Like, let's not even worry about it. But yeah, that's where I stand on it. So that's pretty much it, bro. That's how I feel about it.
Let me ask you this, bro.
Yep.
If the Commanders somehow win this Super Bowl, like just think about it. If they beat the Eagles in the NFC Championship game and somehow beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl,
that'd be probably. I think that would put an ignition in every sorry teams.
It gotta be, bro.
Like, bro, they went from number 2 draft pick to Super Bowl winners. Like, that's gonna have everybody up in arms. Like the Panthers, Jets, everybody gonna be like, all right, bro. Like, if they can do it, brother, we can do it. Like,
you number one, you got to get rid of the owner. Number 2, you got to get rid of the GM. Number 3, you got to get rid of the coach. You got to get rid of the quarterback. You got to start from the boy.
It's gonna set a if they go win a title after just being, the second overall pick, no trade up. They were actually the second overall pick. It's gonna set a precedent for these sorry teams because it's gonna be like, okay, ain't no 7-year plans going on. They flipped it around in 12 months. So ain't no more 7-year plans going on, brother. Like, you feel me? Like, I don't know, but that could set a precedent that ain't good for like sorry organizations like the Panthers, Jets, Browns. It's gonna make them step up because now everybody gonna be like, well, y'all seen what the Commanders did, right? Like, that would be bad. For bad football teams, that would be bad.
That would be bad. Because my thought process, I thought that was going to change a couple years ago when the Bengals went to the Super Bowl.
Bengals was another one that kind of flipped it around kind of quick.
Yeah, they flipped it around in 2 years, essentially. But I thought that was when it was going to flip. But, man, they I don't know. If they win this, bro, first and foremost, Jaden Daniels, he probably – I don't even know what more you can even say. Like, what more could he even do in his career, bro? Like, you would never have to worry about winning another championship.
No, as long as he has a decent career, he's probably Hall of Fame.
He a lot, bro. All he got to do is probably get like 1, 2 MVP. No, 1 MVP.
Probably one.
Good.
Probably one and a couple more playoff appearances, and he good. And a decent career, which I think he's gonna have.
Yeah, a couple.
Because I don't think has a rookie ever won a Super Bowl.
Didn't Russell Wilson, was he a rookie?
I thought Russell Wilson was in year 2 when he won. I know Ben Roethlisberger was in year 2 when he won.
He probably,
but I don't know.
In year 2. Let me see. I'm about to look it up now, though. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I don't know if a rookie. I'm about to look it up my daggone self because
a rookie quarterback ever.
I know Ben won his second year. I do know that.
The answer is no.
No, so nobody has won as a rookie quarterback. Mm-hmm. I didn't think so.
They hadn't even a rookie quarterback ain't even started in the Super Bowl before.
That's what I'm saying. So, yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. But look, man, another good show, another good episode. Appreciate y'all of the support, man. We're gonna be back rocking again next week on Tuesday. Yeah, man, we're gonna be talking about a lot because we got the NFC and AFC championship games coming up this week. We'll probably start transitioning a little bit more basketball into play too as well coming up here since the football season is coming to an end. So yeah, that's pretty much that. But we appreciate y'all love and support. Cam, did you want to say anything before heading out?
Man, just appreciate y'all for everything.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Thankful for y'all's love and support, man. We, like you said, we'll be back here next Tuesday talking about who playing in the Super Bowl.
That's it, man. We'll be back next Tuesday talking about what we seen this week. Y'all stay safe. A lot of people in the South are getting drenched with snow, even Atlanta. I know Florida, Mississippi, everywhere in the South. So y'all be safe, stay indoors. We appreciate y'all love and support. We're gonna holler at y'all on the next one, man. Y'all take it.